Hey, this is for all homeowners who have central air conditioning units or heat pumps. It's springtime, and this is a perfect opportunity to determine whether or not your system is working good, and more importantly, whether it's even working at all. So the last thing you want to do is get caught during the summer months, which is going to come very quickly. The first heat waves usually hit at the end of May, early June. So when they hit hard, and those air conditioning systems and heat pumps start to work really hard too. So you're going to want to know whether or not that system is working good. And if it is, great. If it isn't, this is the perfect time to get it done before the mad rush. So every year, like clockwork, since I've been in this industry for over 2 decades, I have seen it time and time again where people just wait to the last minute to turn on their air conditioning units. I don't blame them. They're trying to save energy, and I get it. But you should turn on your air conditioning system at least once before the cooling season, just to make sure that it's working. Because if it isn't, then that's the perfect time to either get it replaced or get it fixed before the big heat wave comes. Because when that first heat wave comes, we get slammed. The HVAC industry just gets bombarded. We cannot keep up. And not only that, prices go up, wait times go up, just parts get on back order. It just becomes a very big problem for many people. So that being said, this video is going to be extra important because I'm not just going to tell you to turn on your air conditioner like I normally have in the past and what many other people do. I'm going to show you a couple extra tips that I know from being an HVAC technician of what to look for. And they're very, very simple. They won't take you too much time and they don't cost you anything, but they might just save you that headache and that aggravation come this cooling season. And any homeowner can do this. I'm going to give you very easy, simple tips. So the first thing is we're not going to turn on the air conditioner or test it at all until the temperatures get to be about plus 16 degrees Celsius and above. Try to do it between plus 16 and 20 degrees Celsius because we can usually find those temperatures in, April, mid-May. That's not a problem. So once we find that temperature, then we can go check the filters, make sure the filter's clean. If the filter is a 1-inch filter and it needs to be replaced, go ahead and replace it now. If it's one of those 5-inch filters, then most people get about 9 to 12 months out of them. It really depends on how much dust you have in the house and also those furry friends that you might have around the house that shed a lot and had a lot of extra burr and whatnot in the air. So that's what you're going to have to look out for. Once you've gone through the filter, then go up to your thermostat, turn it on, put it to cooling, turn the temperature down, turn it down about 1 degree, maybe 2 degrees, no more than that, so that the air conditioner comes on. Make sure, of course, the cover is taken off and all that stuff. Once you do that, the first thing is it running? So if it's running, great. We can go to the next step. If it's not, then you got to figure out why it's not running. If the breakers are good and everything like that, well, then there's your service call. If that step is proven, then the next step is we're going to wait about maybe 5-10 minutes and we're going to go over to the registers and you're going to feel the registers and make sure that we have air coming out, but it's not only air, it should be somewhat cool. The next step that you're going to do is you're going to wait, let it run for about 1 hour, 2 hours, somewhere in between 1 and 2 hours. But in the first hour, you want to listen to make sure that a few things are happening. First of all, that the air conditioner shuts off. If the temperatures outside are between 16 degrees and 20 degrees Celsius, it should be shutting off within that hour, providing your house wasn't really hot. But if you're only trying to get the temperature down 1 or 2 degrees, it should be shutting off within that time. As long as it does, it's obviously going to come back on, but you just want to make sure that it does do that. If it doesn't and it just stays running the whole time and it hasn't dropped in temperature, well, that could be an indication of a problem as well. As we go along with these steps, I'm going to be saying what it should be doing, and if it's not, then that would open up the door for a discussion on whether or not you should have a service call to find out what the issue is. So now, if it's shutting off, fine, great. So that means it's running, it's getting up to temperature, shutting itself off. That's normal operation. So now we want to go outside and we got to make sure that the unit is running now at this point. So if it's shut off, we got to turn it back on at maybe a degree lower and or just wait for it to come on next. And once it comes on next and it's been running for about 5 minutes, you can take a look at the copper line sets that come out. So they come out of the house and they come into the unit. There's a very skinny copper line, and then there's a thicker copper line that usually has what's called Armaflux, which is an insulation sleeve that goes around it. It's a little bit thicker, and that's the one that usually freezes up. So what you want to look at is, if it's a really hot day, you'll probably see a little bit of moisture on that cold line. The bigger line, you'll see some moisture. If you touch it, it'll be a little bit cool to the touch. The skinny line that has no insulation on it, if you hold that while it's running, it should be roughly lukewarm. That's pretty good operation. It doesn't have to be sweating. It usually sweats when it's really humid out and hot. So it could just be dry, but still cool to the touch. However, if you see any frost, even if it's a little bit of frost, you should never have frost on any of those line sets, even a little bit, because that's just meaning that the longer that runs and the hotter it gets outside, that frost is going to build up and it's going to turn into ice, and it's going to travel down and it's going to ice up your whole coil that sits above the furnace, and that's called a freeze up. And it just leads to a lot of problems and sometimes even furnace failures. So you want to make sure that this step is critical, that you pay attention to. If you do not have any white frost and you don't have any white ice or anything like that around those lines, then it's a good indication that your system is probably running pretty good. Does it mean that you don't need to get a yearly maintenance now? That's not what I'm saying. And I do believe that you should get that, because the things I just taught you are just very basic things that you can look at. But when you have a technician out to your house, he's checking if he's doing his job correctly, he should be checking your pressures, superheat, subcooling, all these things that have to do with refrigeration. And he'll be checking out the circuits and inside. He'll be just basically going much deeper to see if there's any other issues, right? Any issues that maybe can't be picked up from just visualizations like what we're doing here. So with that all being said, one final check that you want to do is just take a look inside the unit. If it's a side discharge unit, they're a little harder to look into, and generally you don't have too many issues with them. If the fan's on the top, it's called top discharge. If the fan is on the top of the actual condenser unit outside, make sure the power is off. You can pull the disconnect switch, which is right beside the air conditioner outside, or you can just wait for it to shut off or turn it off by the thermostat. Either way, once it's shut off and the fan stops spinning, then you can go and take a look inside. Make sure that there's no nesting. Nesting is a very big problem. I can't tell you how many times we've had service calls due to rodents and stuff building nests over the winter time, and they have babies and whatever, they get hungry, and those colorful wires and circuit boards look really tasty, and they start to chew on those, and next thing you know, you have problems with your system. So to protect those little furry animals and also your system, see if there's anything in there, because once again, this is something that technicians, when they go to do a yearly maintenance and tune up of your air conditioner, they can go and take it apart and get them out before they cause any issues. So like I said, everything I just showed you isn't going to cost you a penny, and also it's very quick. It's a one-time thing. If you can do it in April, great. If you can do it in May, do it in May, but definitely do it before the heat waves hit. It could save you a lot of aggravation and give you pretty good peace of mind, and that's always good to have. I'm JC, the HVAC veteran, and if you're in my service area of Vaughan, GTA, surrounding area, you can go ahead and email me if you want some help, if you're in the market for a HVAC system or anything like that. Once again, go ahead and let me know. I have a really good team that's highly professional. We have almost 5-star reviews, so we're good at what we do. Until my next video, I'll see you later.